So, I usually don't go out of my way to watch a horror movie. Mainly 'cause I don't like to be scared, 'cause I'm a giant pussy. But hey, at least I'm not a vegan. Over the past few weeks, though, I've been working to actively try to get into horror movies, and I've actually been having a pretty good time. Just the other day, I watched The Evil Dead for the first time, and that movie genuinely scared the shit out of me. But I actually enjoyed it. Of course, most horror movies these days rely on jump scares and other cliched bullshit. But while there were jump scares in The Evil Dead, I actually genuinely enjoyed it because it actually spent time working on the atmosphere. It is truly a masterpiece. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today I want to review Scary Godmother's Halloween Spooktakular. Is it scary? No. Is it well animated? I would say no. Is it nostalgic? Hell yes. I remember as a kid watching this practically every Halloween. It was to me what the Great Pumpkin was to pretty much everyone else. With that said, I haven't seen this in years, so let's take a look at it. You know, for old time's sake. So we open up with a guy running to a cemetery to meet up with one of his friends. Why a cemetery? I don't know, something about graveyard desecration?
Graveyards being defecated on.
Oh. Anyway, these two characters are named Daryl and Katie, and eventually they're joined up by their friend Bert, and their other friend Jimmy, who's been forced to bring his little cousin along with him on this Halloween night. And Jimmy's a complete dick to his cousin, whose name is Hannah, but what else would you expect from a guy who's dressed up as the devil himself? Now, the other three are genuinely nice to Hannah, and yet, later on in the story, Jimmy convinces them all to play along with them when he forces Hannah to go into an abandoned house and he holds the door shut behind her. She gets so scared, and that's when her scary godmother shows up to show her that everything's okay. Her scary godmother takes her to an alternate dimension where monsters are actually real. And while Hannah's on her fantastic little adventure, the others are stuck waiting there while everyone else gets to trick or treat. Karma's a bitch, ain't it? So, on the fright side, Scary Godmother is holding her annual Halloween event, and she introduces Hannah to some of her friends. The first person that Hannah gets introduced to is named Scully, a skeleton who hides in no closets. Despite the fact that literally the first thing he does is burst out of a closet, but you get what I'm saying.
Parties.
Oh, it is the spookiest Phantom Fest in the whole realm. Everyone will be there. It's practically a who's boo of monsters.
The next creature we're introduced to is Harry, the werewolf. He is very talkative and very gluttonous. He also is a big fan of some popular TV show in their universe, and he even mistakes Hannah for one of his favorite actresses. To explain his character, let me just say this. He's like the dick friend that you wish you didn't have. That's basically his importance to the story. Next we're introduced to the vampires, Count Maxwell, his wife Ruby, and their son Orson. And true to vampire lore, you have to invite them into your home. Now, I really identify with Count Maxwell. He's pretty socially awkward and he has trouble fitting into the party. And sometimes when he tells jokes, people don't really laugh at them.
So other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the show?
Despite their portrayal in other types of media, these vampires are actually really nice. The final monster we're introduced to is named Bugaboo. He's the type of monster that hides in the closets, under beds, in scary basements, just anywhere where children would be afraid. It takes Hannah a while to warm up to him, but once he reassures her that he's not going to eat her, they actually become fast friends. So while Hannah's experiencing all this, Jimmy and his friends are suffering the consequences of being assholes. I mean, we see that they've got some candy, but not nearly as much as they would have if they decided to hold off on their shits and giggles.
Graveyards being defecated on.
Lady, you're disgusting. Realizing that it's time to go home, Hannah finds that she's no longer afraid of monsters. She explains to everybody that it was her cousin Jimmy that made her afraid in the first place. And as it just so happens, Jimmy is the next victim on Bugaboo's route. However, judging by the schedule he holds up, he could be going to scare Jimmy Hopkins for all we know. Because, you know, he can get a spiked haircut too. So Hannah and all of her new friends go back to reality and exact sweet revenge on the people that tormented her. And when they're finished, Scary Godmother gives her a key and tells her that whenever she feels lonely, she can come visit her on the Fright Side. While this special is no masterpiece, it's still something I consider, well, special. As a holiday special, it has aged okay. The animation obviously isn't the best, but I mean, come on, what would you expect from early 2000s CG? Especially if it's something made for TV, you know. But where this shines through is that it does a pretty good job of capturing the childhood wonder that goes behind Halloween. If you want a good Halloween special to put on for your kids, this is one I highly recommend. I mean, hell, if you grew up in the early 2000s like I did, I would recommend this for a nostalgia trip. When I first started this review, I was expecting this to not be as good as I remembered. And to be fair, it wasn't. But with that said, I ended up being pleasantly surprised when I watched it. Let me just reiterate when I say that I highly recommend this for the Halloween season. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.